8.
You're watching the Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Holy crap, guys. It's going to be a fun day. What's up? I'm your boy, Chuck Pineau. We've got a really weird show going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't have any clue how this is all going to go down, and I'm excited by that. This is Talking Treats Trivia on the EXP. I'm Chuck Pineau, and you know how we do it. We have someone absolutely awesome come in. We chat with them. We learn about their projects and their life and what they're doing and all that kind of cool stuff. And then we sit down afterwards, and we usually do some trivia, and we give out a prize. Most of that is true for today, but there will be some change-ups just because of how things went. Doesn't matter. We're going to have fun, and I'm not even going to tell you, so you stick around to see the weirdness that happens. So, you know what? I think that's good enough. JD, give me a thumbs up. Are we good to go?
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
That opening intro is the best thumbs up ever. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for having me, Chuck.
Dude, I'm so excited to have you in. Guys, and I didn't even introduce him yet. This is Richard Davis. You've done so much cool stuff that I've seen all over the place. And I mean, I know that a lot of people, like, they're talking like that's kind of a BS, but I'm actually like, I don't know when you started making comics, but I started making comics about 2017. Okay. And I've been able to watch your stuff and watch you when you got into like Source Point and all the other different stuff that you've been able to do. Of course, I don't remember it all off the top of my head right now, but I've been able to.
I don't remember it all either.
You know what? That's how you know you've done pretty good for yourself when you're like, oh crap, did I do that?
Yeah, I actually do that. Yeah. And then, of course, there have been a few nights of drinking that make me forget things too. So, people probably have stories about things I've done that I'm like, did I do that?
Oh, I 100% feel that. I remember going to a show not too long ago and seeing a banner, and I was like, that book looks really familiar. Have I reviewed that book or something? And so I walked up to the booth afterwards, and the dude's like, oh my gosh, it's Chuck, what's going on? Dude, you edited this book. I'm like, oh crap, I did. Okay, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Dude, and it was cool. I was so excited. Met him, got to hang out with him. Like, it was really neat. It was one of those people who, like, I didn't get to know as much during the process.
Yeah.
But seeing them at a con and getting to know them, it was awesome. So yeah, man. So I completely get where you're at. I love that. Okay, cool. Stevie B series says, happy Thanksgiving Eve. Chuck, please get around to yeah. Sorry. Don't want to waste a bone wish on this. No, man, Stevie B, I got you, man. Sorry. He's been going through a tough time, so I've been giving him a little bit of space. But Steve, I will get in contact with him soon. I just didn't want to get in touch with him right now. But hit me up on Facebook, and we'll talk about it more. So, Richard, we get people out here to talk about all their stuff, and we have a little bit more time to chat than we normally would. We would only have you in for like 25 minutes, but I don't have an awful lot that I have to do afterwards. So
awesome.
Why don't we start with your origin story? This is a question I used to ask on my old show a lot. What is the origin story of, do you prefer Richard or Rich?
Rich, please.
Oh, perfect. Great. Rich. What is the origin story of Rich the fan and of Rich the creator?
Where should I begin? Should I begin like David Copperfield? I was born, I lived. Okay, sorry, this interview with a vampire. My bad. This is interview with me, not interview with Louis.
Right? You could do You could do like a Genesis thing where,
Right.
on the first day.
You can tell I've read Interview the Vampire probably 25, 30 times.
Right. Well, yeah, and even the books that you make kind of say like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy's definitely read that.
So I was born in a little small town called Sparta, Tennessee. It's the middle of the state and the dead middle of nowhere. But it's actually becoming a tourist destination now because we've got some beautiful hiking and waterfalls and rivers, and we actually have our first brewery, Calf Killer Brewery, which is pretty fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Craft beers. If you guys are looking for a really cool craft, check out Calf Killer. It's really good. It's named after the Calf Killer River, not because they kill calves. But yeah, I was born in Sparta. I grew up there and learned a lot. Small town. Appalachia, you'll see those influences in my book. I mean, when you in Cult of Dracula, the very first page, you're driving up on a church way the hell out in the middle of nowhere in the sticks, and I used to drive by that church every single day on my way to my grandma and grandpa's farm, and that church always scared me and fascinated me. So. Growing up in small town, rural Appalachia really influenced my writing significantly. I went to college at UNCW, University of North Carolina, Wilmington. I chose to go to that college because I wanted to be on Dawson's Creek. That's how I chose my college.
Really?
Yeah, and Dawson's Creek was filmed in Wilmington. Wilmington's got a wonderful film community there, Screen Gem Studios. When I was in college, I actually did get to do extra work on Dawson's Creek, which was really cool. I basically, when I was in college, instead of waiting tables, I did day player extra work and then worked crew, PA, costumes, things like that, in various films and television shows. So Wilmington was wonderful. I like to say that I wasn't born in Wilmington, but Wilmington is where I grew up.
Yeah.
Because that's where I came into my own as an artist, as a writer. I was a playwright, a screenwriter, things like that. And I graduated into writing comics. I started writing Cult of Dracula in 2019. It hit shelves in 2021 from Source Point Press. Well, there was a brief interlude there with Second Sight Publishing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was really cool. Nothing but good things to say about Second Sight. When nobody in the world expected a book from an unknown publisher, from an unknown writer, to sell 10,000 copies right out of the gate. And this was without distribution. They didn't. That was the big issue with Second Sight, was they had not yet established distribution with Diamond, and this was before Lunar and Penguin and all that. So they hadn't established that distribution channel. No fault of their own, because hell, I didn't expect to sell 10,000 copies. But with those massive sales and just the way comic books are, how you get paid from comics, it's very, very far down the line. They just didn't have the money to publish issue number 2. So Second Sight, they were kind enough to introduce me to the people at Source Point Press. Jacob Way, Travis McIntyre brought me in. And so Source Point Press, they did a new version of Cult of Dracula issue 1. They fulfilled, this is awesome about Source Point, they fulfilled everyone's order for issue 2 that ordered books through Second Sight. They fulfilled those orders, and then they released everything out into comic book stores through Diamond. And Cult of Dracula, it caught lightning in a bottle, thanks mostly to podcasters like yourself. I was out there. I would do every podcast possible. I didn't care. I didn't care if you had 5 listeners or 50,000 listeners. If you wanted to talk to me, I wanted to talk to you. And I built relationships with podcasters, and I built relationships with store owners. I would call the stores directly and have conversations with them about my book. And so it wasn't, it wasn't just this book in Diamond. It was, oh yeah, that's my friend Rich's book. And so they wanted to order it. And, Cult of Dracula became a top 50 best-selling comic of 2021, which was fantastic. My first book, Cult of Dracula, it was the badge art at New York Comic Con in 2021. I actually walked around New York Comic Con signing people's badges, which was pretty rad.
Right.
My first book out, I had this kind of rock star experience, and I was kind of like Dan Marino going to a Super Bowl in his rookie year, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay if I didn't win. I'm going to go every year." Well, he didn't go. He never made it back to the Super Bowl. It's none of my books have been quite as successful as Cult of Dracula, but they've been very successful. I'm now with Prometheus in Chains issue number 4 just hitting shelves. I'm now at 12. I'm at 16 consecutive issue sellouts at the distributor level, which is pretty damn cool. I actually did the math the other day for an agency that I've recently signed with, the William Pettit Agency, and he tallied the numbers himself on our sales. And my books have sold just under 500,000 units.
Dude.
Yeah. And that's pretty damn cool. When I never thought of it that way, because, I've never sat down and actually tallied up the sales numbers. A lot of them I don't even have access to, but Bill, he found it, of course he's an agent, he can do that stuff. And just somewhere, I think it's 487,000 units sold. Now that's across Cult of Dracula, Rise of Dracula, Prometheus in Chains, and all the trade paperbacks. So, but that's a huge number. And I'm very humbled by that. And really and truly, it all started with you podcasters and some really cool retailers out there.
You have no idea how happy I am to hear you. I mean, obviously, I love you mentioned the podcasters. I think that's great, and I appreciate it. But you have no idea how happy I am to hear. When we on the outside see that you go from Second Sight to Source Point, of course, instantly like alarms go off, and you go, "Who dropped the ball? Blah blah blah. Like what happened?" And so to hear your story. That's a story that I think we need to be telling more and more, and that's an embrace of the good in comics. Like I think that's probably the best story I've ever heard for anyone switching publishers. It's just like they weren't big enough to handle it, they admitted it, and they got us somewhere else that could help us. Like that's you have no idea how much I want to swear right now. And it's a PG-13 show.
Thank you for telling me, because I have a sailor's mouth sometimes.
Dude, same here. Same here. How I got an effing PG-13 show, I don't know. But these guys are awesome, so I'm in. It means I get one F word, and basically what I do is I hold through the whole thing, and if there's no F, then I end with one.
You just do it at the end. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will try not to use up your F-bomb here.
You know what, man? It always goes to the guest first. So if the guest uses an F-bomb, it's theirs. And if not, there's other guests out there who don't use them. And I jump on that opportunity first chance I get.
Look,
so you're good.
People who swear have higher IQs than people who don't. So,
and I
think I read that on Facebook. And if it's on Facebook, it has to be true.
Rayla, what's going on, girl? So good to have you out here. This is Rich Davis.
Hey,
he has
Rayla.
done Cult of Dracula, all sorts of other stuff. What are you pushing right now? What's the big thing?
So I have a Kickstarter, my first ever Kickstarter, going right now for Reign of Dracula, which is the third and final volume of my original Dracula trilogy. I like to tell people, if Cult of Dracula were a Tobe Hooper Southern Gothic Texas Chainsaw Massacre style movie, Rise of Dracula is a John Carpenter near future dystopia, and Reign of Dracula is a full-on George Miller Mad Max the world is effed apocalypse. Yeah, so I'm very heavily inspired by films. I'm a film dork. I
feel that.
Yeah, and God, my books are filled with so many movie references. It's ridiculous. But
I do the same thing with metal bands and metal lyrics. So I feel you.
Yep, it's just natural. It's what's in my brain. And so, yeah, Reign of Dracula sums everything up, at least for that first saga. It is it's a post-apocalyptic journey through heaven and hell. Our leading characters, Mina Murray and Lucy Westerna, who we met in Cult of Dracula. We found out that they were sisters. We found out that they were daughters of Dracula. We found out that Dracula is not a single person. Dracula is a title passed down. It's passed down through this bloodline, tying itself back all the way back to Lilith in the Garden of Eden. Dracula in my world is a woman. That's not just a woke thing. I didn't do it just because I wanted to change something up. I did my research. I researched vampire myths from all over the world, because vampires don't simply belong to Western culture. Every culture has a vampire. Yeah. Every culture has a vampire myth. And in most of those cultures, vampires are women. They trace the story goes back to the myth of the succubus. So it started to make sense to me to make my Dracula different, but I would make her a woman, and I would give her a more global, multicultural lineage. Because the one thing I knew I didn't want to do coming into this is I didn't want to tell another story set in Victorian London with about a pasty white dude coming in and buying up all the real estate, and I didn't want to tie it into Vlad Tepes.
Yeah.
That story's been done so many times and so well. Nobody needs my version of that story. Nobody needs another version of that story, period. It's been done. Do something different. So by tying in mythologies and folk tales and scary stories like the Deer Woman from the Cherokee Nation, La Llorona from South America, Kali from India, and of course Kali's a goddess, not a folk hero or folk monster. So I don't want to disrespect anyone who any Hindi. But when Medusa in Greece, all of these figures in my world, they were all Dracula, just interpreted differently by the cultures who observed her. And that really opened up a whole new world. Hey, Bubby. opened up a whole new world of storytelling possibilities. And we began teasing it. You're introduced to the concept in Cult of Dracula. You're introduced to many of the past Dracula in Rise of Dracula. And in Reign of Dracula, you get the explanation. So you get the big payoff. If you've read the first two books, all of those questions that you've had, and it's been really difficult for me not to spill the beans in, Rise of Dracula. I don't believe in hand holding. I hate obvious exposition. I think it disrespects the reader and it underestimates their intelligence. I leave things up to my readers to understand and interpret on their own. I don't want to tell them what to think. I want them to think when they read my books. So it was very difficult for me because I would get comments and in reviews, that they didn't always understand what was going on. And a lot of them, they wanted in one issue, they wanted to know everything. And if I give you everything in the first issue, why are you going to read the next 5? And if I give you everything in the first volume, why are you going to read volume 2? You got to tease it out there a little bit, and you reward the people who stick with you. Each one of my books has a satisfying beginning, middle, and end. You can read Cult of Dracula by itself, Rise, Reign, whatever. You don't have to read any of the other books. But if you do read those other books, you get a huge payoff and you understand more. The reason I did that is I was very inspired by Stephen King. He's one of my favorite authors. He's one of my favorite people. I admire him deeply. And he ties everything. Every book he writes somehow ties into his Dark Tower. And that I think is fantastic. And I also understand it as a writer because Dracula seems to be my Dark Tower. I always come back to Dracula. It's like if you were one of the few people who actually read DC's Convergence, god awful story. But it had, and that was issue 0. And it ends, Superman, he's facing off against this giant super brainiac. And he says, throughout time, across universes, it always comes down to you. And everything always comes down to Dracula in my writing. So it's been really fun to kind of spin this world of Dracula. And I'm kind of creating a horror universe. I introduced Victor Frankenstein in Rise of Dracula issue 3. And then Victor Frankenstein is the titular character in my Prometheus in Chains book.
Nice.
Yeah. And so in Prometheus in Chains, you're going to get the beginning of the big Dracula reveal. Issue 6 of Prometheus in Chains has a huge reveal about the world of Dracula, the universe of Dracula, really. And then you're also introduced to 2 of my next stories. I'm working on a book called Dorian, which is a play on Dorian and Gray. And I'm working on a book called Hyde. You can pretty much guess what that is.
Yeah.
And then I'm working with Les Lyndon Garner on a werewolf story called Sons of Perdition. And all of those things are going to tie in to the world of Dracula. Now, some of them have obvious links, like Prometheus in Chains. There's a Dracula in there. You meet her. But Sons of Perdition, it just happens in the same universe. It's just a parallel story. You're going to see, maybe you notice, a little location that was in one of the other books, or maybe a character passes through, again, very heavily inspired by Stephen King's Dark Tower. So it's really been cool to do that. It's freed me up as a writer, having that anchor point to always go back to. And I think it's delivering a very satisfying payoff to my readers.
Cool. So a lot of what you've mentioned here, I can't think of a better word right now, so I apologize. But they're kind of obvious inspirations. Like, I can see how those things would connect to your work. So I guess what I'm wondering is there an inspiration that would surprise people that you've been able to take into your work? One where you're like, oh, man, actually, I really love whatever, like My Little Pony, and this is how it connects. Like, whatever it is, right? Like, do you have a really weird inspiration that you think people would be very surprised that links into that?
I don't know. It may or may not be weird. To me, it seems like it would probably be weird, but movies. I'm a huge film buff. I mean, I have a film degree. I've worked in the film industry, and movies have always been really big in my life. So my books are filled with movie references. Cult of Dracula issue 3, for example, every vehicle in that issue is a vehicle from a particular horror movie that I love. Rise of Dracula, the Ruthven sisters, they're popping movie references. They're kind of the comedic relief, the levity to the book. Because in the middle of everything that's going on in that book, you need to laugh a couple times. But they're popping movie references in their dialogue, very quippy. Quentin Tarantino, huge inspiration for me.
Oh, love Tarantino. Yes.
Me too. I love his dialogue. Joss Whedon. I know that's not popular to say right now, but the man's a damn brilliant writer. I don't care if he's an asshole on set. He's a brilliant freaking writer. Diablo Cody. I love her dialogue. Jennifer's Body. God, I can't remember the name of the Michael shit. Anyway, forget about it. Diablo Cody. So movie references might surprise people. Also, another thing I think is a little bit odd is my obsession with researching the topics that I'm writing about. I want it to be accurate. Like Prometheus in Chains, there's an issue where they're watching the first Super Bowl, and it happens at a particular time of day. So I did my research to find out what likely would have been on the screen at that particular time on that particular day. So that's ridiculous stuff that no one is ever going to pick up. In Rise of Dracula, there's a scene where Lucy rips somebody's spine out and then beats them to death with it. So I'm up at like 2 a.m. I have a friend who works in a morgue. And so I've texted her, and I'm like, hey, theoretically, if someone were to use a spine as a weapon, would it function more like a whip or more like a club? And the first text response I got was, you asked the weirdest effing questions. And then she said, hold on, I'm going to ask my coroner. And she gets back to me and she said, well, it's kind of both. And she sent me this link to research. There's a weapon from the Philippines that is like a flexible club. And so if you ever wanted to know what how to use a spine as a weapon, read Rise of Dracula. It will tell you.
I love that, because I loved,
by the way,
honestly,
that's one F-bomb.
No, dude, when it comes to research, I'm the same way. Like, one of the reasons why I love doing this show is I find out about what you guys are doing, and then I like to create trivia based on the themes and ideas, and even like where you're from, like whatever. Like, I'll have a lot of fun with that kind of stuff. And even in my own work, like, we had to do a time travel book, but they didn't travel like way back to like meet the dinosaurs. They went back to the 90s.
Yeah.
In New York City. And so it was neat because they were the guy
the late 1900s.
Right, yeah, exactly. The late
say that
20th century.
You were born in the late 1900s. They say it like, where we had no electricity and we're, horse and buggies. No, we had grunge music and we could go out, and our parents didn't helicopter over us all the dang time.
And the poor of us still had black and white TVs, but we knew what color looked like.
Yeah. My first TV that I played my NES on was a little 13-inch black and white TV. And I remember very clearly the birthday that my grandpa took me to Sears here in Knoxville, where I live actually, and bought me a 13-inch color TV with a remote. And I remember how cool that was. And my mom, my aunts and uncles, they were all jealous because they're like he never would have bought us a color TV. I was like, yeah, but Grandpa loves me.
Right? Dude, I remember having to look at certain details so you'd remember, oh yeah, Mario has the flame right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's black and white, so you can't see it. Dan Price is in that. Speaking of awesome indies, dude.
What's up, Dan?
Oh, it's such a good. If you ever get the chance to see, there he is. If you ever get, oh my gosh, how am I've worked on the damn book and I can't remember the. Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Okay.
Dude, such a good book. So much fun. Oh my, yeah, and yeah.
I'll check that one out.
Absolutely great. Oh yeah.
I'll tell my friend Garen about if you've watched Swap Shop on Netflix, Garen was my partner on that show, and he's big.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's big into those funny books. I'm not a big humor guy, but he loves that stuff.
I'm a humor guy, but it's also got its serious edge too. He does a lot of the research, so he looks into all these other like kaiju and stuff like that. And so it's a really cool book, man. There's a lot of really neat stuff to it, and you get to see it through time. So that's man. Awesome. But I remember like having to do research about New York in the 90s, and I'm looking at like, okay, they wanted to wear a Rangers jacket, so where the Rangers had just won the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh, the Stanley Cup. So, stuff like that. I'm looking into all that kind of stuff. I had to find a specific pizza place in Brooklyn near a specific hospital. And I needed it to have survived from 95 to now, just in case they happen to visit again. So it was crap like that. Like, and that's, it can be frustrating, but
Mhm.
we do it because we love it. Like
Yeah.
it's like almost some kind of like I like to beat myself fun. Where
Yeah.
you're like, I need to find this thing because to me it will mean the world, and no one will probably ever notice, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah. In Prometheus in Chains, I had a similar situation with I had to research because Prometheus in Chains is a play on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein set in the post World War II atomic age,
Ooh,
and a lot of it takes place. Yeah, so Victor and Elizabeth Frankenstein were two of the scientists who fled Nazi Germany in 1939. That's a true story. Operation Paperclip and others. They came to the U.S. right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, just right down the road, like 20 minutes from where I live in Knoxville. And they worked on the Manhattan Project. So I actually befriended a person who worked for the Department of Energy, and she's a nuclear expert. She goes around the world and inspects nuclear facilities, making sure they're not going to melt down. And I got her to take me on a tour through the Oak Ridge facility. And then I also got her to provide me with photographs of not only what the exterior would have looked like, but what the interior looked like. And, that's not something a lot of people have had access to, because for a long time, that was classified top secret. During the war, the existence of the nuclear facility the entire town of Oak Ridge, Tennessee was created for the Manhattan Project. It did not exist until the Manhattan Project. They built it, and it was super top secret. They could not let the world know about it, because if the Nazis found out we were working on a bomb, they might attack the facility. A lot of things could have gone wrong. So I was doing research on, what the towers would have looked like, and the nuclear towers back then are totally different than they are today. The machinery that they used, which was massive back then, and all that research. And it actually goes into the book on, like, you see this stuff on maybe, like, especially the exterior, like on 5 pages. But for me, it was important to know that, because it provides a depth of knowledge about what I'm writing, which makes my writing more honest. It's not just
yeah.
me making something up. It's Neyland Stadium features in Prometheus, and I wanted to I researched to make sure what year the letters were added to the stadium, and where and all these little itty bitty details that don't matter to anybody but me.
Yeah.
And it's just obsessive research.
No, I massive respect and very much love to do the same thing. I was just going to mention that Lyle, our boy Lyle, my fellow Canadian brother, he says also in Whitby, Ontario, in Building 101, it was involved in Operation Paperclip. So
Yes,
that's
the Canadians were essential in Operation Paperclip, getting
cool. I
those
gotta look that up. I didn't
scientists.
know that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. A lot of them went through Canada. Canada is kind of the unsung hero of World War II. Honestly, they don't get enough credit for their involvement. But yeah, they were huge in getting those scientists out of Nazi Germany.
If you ever get the chance, I think it's over like July. I'd have to look it up. But we have a tulip festival in the capital, Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because during World War II, the Dutch actually sent their royal family to Ottawa, and they were hidden away in Ottawa so that they wouldn't be killed during
Right.
the war. And
Yeah.
so now every year, Holland, even to this day, sends us all these tulips,
Oh, wow.
and they do a tulip festival for that. So yeah, no, I love that stuff. I love
Mhm.
all of that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely, yeah. See, Lyle, my boy knows what's going on. Kenneth
Yep.
Bird, good to see you. Dude, so this is so cool. Might I ask before you go the artist on those pieces? Oh, okay, yeah. He wants to know who are the artists on the pieces behind you.
These I actually don't know. These came from Hobby Lobby. Now, if we're in my office, I have tons of original art. How the hell did I find these at Hobby Lobby? I don't know, but I got lucky and I bought them, like, boom.
Is this your office, or where is this?
No,
Where are we?
This is actually just a little nook in my theater room, and So
I love how your Nook is basically like a cafe where people walk by and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like that's such a nice piece," and you're like, "It's for sale," and they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's nice."
yeah, no, this isn't for sale. I'm keeping. Well, if you offer
Yeah.
me enough money, I'll ship it to you.
Oh
You
yeah, there's a price on anything. Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
feel that.
I keep my nerddom content. I like to compartmentalize things. I don't want my whole house to be nerdy. I don't want to be the 40-year-old
Oh, okay.
person, so I keep things in my theater room downstairs. I keep them, and my office is just right over there connected to it. But in my office is where I put all my original art and my inspiration. I've got some Frank Frazetta in there. I've got some Bernie Wrights and original art that inspires me. But out here, this is my Star Wars corner. I don't know if you can see this, but I've got a little bendy and
Oh,
my
cool.
area. Just showing a little bit of
Yeah.
a wide range of nerdiness.
So you know what I do to make sure that nobody knows about the 40-year-old virgin part?
What's that?
I have sex. And I found that helps a lot. Like, oh, those are my children. That is genetically mine. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, well then he's not a virgin. And I'm like, great, cool.
We can totally be friends, Rayla, especially if you love Bendy. That's an amazing video game. And I hope it gets made into a movie like Five Nights at Freddy's. I would love if by chance the creators of Bendy are out there, I would love to write a Bendy comic.
Guys. Well, and what you should do first is check and see if anyone has a license to it. If they do, you can go straight to the comic company and be like, "Oh my gosh, I have a pitch for Bendy."
Yep.
Like,
yep. That's a great. If you guys haven't played Bendy, Bendy and the Ink Machine's the first one. Second one's Bendy and the Dark Revival. It is a dark, horrific story of the origins of Disney, but instead of Mickey Mouse, it's Bendy. This character, this guy, he creates Bendy and becomes a big animation studio, and then Bendy gets sucked into the Ink Machine, and the Ink Machine's kind of this Alice in Wonderland world where but it's a dark spin on it, where people who worked at the animation studio are trapped in there. The children of the machine. It's awesome, man. It really
okay.
I think it's if you've got PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass, I think it's on both. It's on Steam. It's a really simple game. It's a mystery. You're trying to find things, and great game if you want something just to relax and play between playing sessions of Baldur's Gate. Go check out Ben.
You know me.
Yep, I'm obsessed with Baldur's Gate.
I haven't been able to play the new one because I'm waiting to get my PS5. But I played the previous, finished them, loved the story. I'm in. So yeah,
epic. By far, it is the best game that's come out since The Witcher 3.
Ooh, that's a hell of a bar. All right, cool.
I say that without hyperbole.
Right? No, I love it. So we do have to head out in a little bit. We got to go to on sale on Steam for $10. That's great. Thank you, JD.
Bendy.
There we go. Yeah, there's no reason why I can afford the $10.
Go get it. You'll thank me later.
All right, done. Consider done. I'm excited. and now I'm gonna have to hit you up and be like, "You bastard! You got."
I know, right? I've given you an obsession.
Right.
I even downloaded the Boris game on my phone. So Boris, the characters in there. I love it. Bendy's amazing.
So give us one last pitch for everyone to go. I'm going to make them do it anyway, but for everyone to go check out the new Dracula book. Tell us all about it real quick before we head out for a break.
So Reign of Dracula is my third and final book in the Dracula saga. It takes place in a literal apocalypse. It is if you'll notice, it has themes of Inferno and Paradiso. I really want to finish the story. And I have to have your help on Kickstarter to do that, because I can't fund another book out, like an indie book, out of pocket like that. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
On Kickstarter, our tiers are extremely affordable and extremely accessible, and there's a reason to do them. next year in 2024, the book will come out in 6 issues in comic book stores everywhere, full color editions. But the Kickstarters are 48-page jumbo issues with lots of bonus content, and they're done in black and white ink wash. Those versions will never be reproduced in any form, in any format ever. So they're going to be extremely rare and collectible. Highly recommend you go ahead and get them. And then you go to your comic book store and get the color issues without the bonus content. But we've got a really cool, wide array of covers. We got Brian Silverbacks, Ringo Award nominated artist Sean Koss,
Love his work.
very famous. Les Lyndon Garner, Bella Racklin, Tyler J. Haddix did some work on TMNT, The Last Ronin. I think there's 8 different covers that you can choose from, or you can get them all. They're really cool, and they're cheap. We have a catch-up tier where you can get Cult and Rise of Dracula along with Reign of Dracula. You can get that digitally or hard copy. It's also very, very affordable. And kind of the big unique thing, if you have any retailers out there listening on the EXP,
we do.
I'm talking to you right now. Go back this Kickstarter. You get a 65% discount off of the MSRP. That means you can actually make money by backing this Kickstarter. I own a local comic book store. Local comic book shops are part of what got me where I am. So I insisted if I was going to do a Kickstarter, and I didn't want to at first. I didn't want to do a Kickstarter. But if I was going to do it, we had to take care of retailers because they are the backbone of this industry. If retailers are gone, everything will be produced by 2 giant mega corporations, and it'll all feature Bat Dude and Spider Guy, and that's it. So retailers, go back these. There's a $99 tier for you where you get 20 copies of the book at a 65% discount. Actually, it'll be less than $99 because we added the extra bonus discount. But we give you a bigger discount on our Kickstarter than you're going to get when you order it through Diamond. So go get it.
I'm on with I'm going to be hanging out with our boy Henri Compan tonight.
Yeah, I love Henri.
I will tell Henri about that. I will tell him to go check that out because he's always looking for another indie book to take care of. So I'll mention that directly.
Henri, man. He's a good dude.
Oh, such a good dude. Yeah. Love him. Yeah, and I got to work on his War Lion and Yi Sun Shin with him. So.
Love War Lion.
Great dude.
It's so good.
Thank you.
So good, man. It really
we worked so hard on that book, and number 2 will keep you going, man. I'm so excited.
Awesome. I love how personal Henri's books are. It's his history, it's his family, it's his culture, and it's amazing. I love
when
it.
he brought me War Lion, he was like, I don't know if I want to tell this story because it's so personal. And I was like, okay. And so we started talking through it, and then I was like, dude, just so you're aware, like we can pull back that stuff so that not everybody knows that it's about, that it has anything to do with your story. And this is how we can do it. And from there, we just like, anytime anything new comes up, he's like, Chuck, let's talk through it. Yes, I love it. And so, yeah, man, mad love for him.
Yep.
We're going to get you a bunch. We're already talking to we have a bunch of retailers on the EXP. We're talking to them. So expect a bunch of retailers to go check it out. I
hope so. And also from now through Monday, we're also offering free shipping for retailers. You go back that retailer tier, and you're going to get that extra 10% off, and you're going to get free shipping. Something for non-retailers, if you order it from now through Monday, if you back it and you refer someone else, then you're going to get free shipping, and they're going to get free shipping. So it's a little referral thing. I wanted this book to be affordable and accessible for everyone, and because sometimes Kickstarters, they can be really expensive, especially for retailers. Retailers, they just can't justify, even if they're very well worth it, but they can't justify buying a book for $10 because they can't sell it to their customers for 20 or 30. And even though the book is very well worth that $10, it doesn't make sense for retailers. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So you can make money as a retailer off of these. They're 48-page jumbo-sized issues with bonus content, black and white ink wash, gorgeous art from Les Linden Garner. You can see it. You can see it on the Kickstarter page. It's wonderful. But there's a reason for everybody to go and to back this Kickstarter. And I really hope you do. We're really close to our goal.
Sweet. So I'm going to take a quick break. We have to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back for the last 10 minutes or so, and we're going to keep talking. So, JD, let's take that quick break. We'll be right back with more Rich Davis.
Why was Princess Zelda sad after watching a bunch of YouTube videos? She couldn't find a link in the description. We'll stop if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Click subscribe and click the bell when you do. And thanks for supporting the EXP.
Symphonic verses, Nocturne's romance. A song of romanticized darkness, dreaming dead by sleep.
Comic Collectibles is a pretty straightforward show. You got Rex here, he sells the comics, and you got Rockin' Robbie, he knows about the comics. And finally, John, well, no one really knows what John does. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he just keeps showing up. Come to think of it, I don't even really know how he gets in here. Anyway, awesome comics, rare books, rarer signatures, slabbed books, and amazing cover sketches by Ken Hazer and others. Simple formula. You want the comics? You buy the comics. To sum up, Rex sells the comics, Robbie knows the comics, and John, who might possibly be a ghost. I mean, seriously, has anyone ever seen him show up or leave? Comic Collectibles with Rex and John, Mondays from 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. Comic Culture and Sales.
You'll make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
What's up, gang? So good to see you guys back. All right, so real quick, I need all of you guys to do me a really quick favor. I need you, if you've been watching this whole time, even if you just started watching, quickly just post something. Just put something like, hey, loving the show, whatever, or even just say hi. Yeah, Chuck, be a better host, damn it. Like something like that. Whatever you guys want, we're going to do a draw. So normally we do trivia, but today got way ahead of me. And luckily, Rich and I have never hung out. So I was like, cool. Rather than do trivia today, Rich and I are just going to hang out the whole time and have a good time. Oh, don't worry, honey. Rayla, you were already on the list. I've got Lyle, Rayla, Stevie B, and Kenneth Bird. So if there's anyone else out there, let us know you're here. We're going to do a quick draw instead of trivia today. Chuck is so quiet. Yeah, see that? There you go. Hashtag Chuck is so quiet. We'll get that around there. Irony is great. So you still brought a prize today.
I did.
So can you tell everyone about the sweet prize you've got going on?
Yeah. So this is an extremely rare variant for Cult of Dracula, my first book. And it was done by Georges Genty. It's an homage to my favorite comic book writer or artist of all time, Bernie Wrightson. It's House of Secrets 92 homage variant by Georges Genty. This was from the second site run. So this was a 1 in 50 variant. So somebody do the math. There were 10,000 units sold. 1 in 50 of those were this variant. There's not a lot of them out there. And it is absolutely stunningly gorgeous.
Ooh, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I love this cover. It seems to be everybody's favorite cover. And it's got my little dog Mina on there. So Georges loves to draw Mina into his covers. George has done a couple of covers for me. Love him. He's a wonderful dude. Check out his work on Mandalorian right now. But yeah, so I will happily sign this extremely rare Cult of Dracula #1 variant and send it to you once Chuck tells me how to do that.
All right. Perfect. Okay, dude, that thing looks so freaking awesome. And actually, Lyle was saying earlier, he said, I've read those Dracula books. Phenomenal. I loved it.
Thank you, Lyle. Go back to Kickstarter so you can finish the story.
Yeah, jump on Kickstarter and grab the rest of it. Steve, he was talking about his wishbone earlier, and he's like, oh, man, this is the one I want, so I'm going to break my wishbone for this. Okay, fair enough. Dude, do you have any plans for Thanksgiving this weekend? Like, what are you up to?
Yeah, gonna spend Thanksgiving with family. And this year I don't have to cook. I do love to cook. That's that may be another weird thing that people may not know about me. I really do love cooking. It's zen for me. It's very relaxing. And I love cooking for people. But this year, I'm not cooking for Thanksgiving. I'm going to do on Christmas. I'm going to do my famous ribeye roast. But for the turkey and stuff, that's for family members to cook. So I hope everyone out there in the U.S., if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you enjoy yours. If you're in Canada, I don't know what you do on Thanksgiving, but have fun.
Nothing, because we already did it in early October.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. So we get 2 Thanksgivings, which is the best.
That is cool. I love it. I want 2 Thanksgivings.
Oh no, dude. Yeah. Well, celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving.
Maybe I should do that. You send me info on it so I'll know when it is.
Done. First weekend of October usually, but yeah, I'll let you know for sure. And that also I like it because it makes a bigger jump between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, I like that too. Because right now it's like, my God, Christmas is in like a month. And
right.
That's not enough time. I mean, my goodness.
So we've got that awesome look at everyone. Everyone's so excited about it, dude. So we do have Canadian Thanksgiving is in October because it's so damn cold up there. They need to do it before the world freezes up. Yeah, 100%. I'll be done in like 2 minutes.
I've been to Vancouver. That's the only place in Canada I've been. So.
Dude, what a beautiful place to go.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want to go to Montreal. I want to Montreal. God, I stumbled on that.
No, the French call it Montreal. I was like, no, good job. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to be there. It looks like such a beautiful Gothic city. I read it. I fell in love with it in these White Wolf, Vampire the Masquerade novels. And man, it just Montreal by night. Hell yes, dude.
And great party town too.
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh, they love. Yeah, they do love to party. All right, man. So everyone's super excited. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna make it nice and simple today. Can you pick a number between 1 and 5?
Me?
Yeah.
3.
3. All right, man. Well, this is how it's going to go then. I gave everybody a number beside their name. And tonight's winner, sorry, Stevie B, it's Kyle Bird. Yeah, it's Kenneth Bird, who has never been able to win on our show before. So good for him. Kenneth Bird we're gonna make sure to give us your address and whatnot so we can get that over to Rich so he can send it off to you. Dude, the rest of you guys, go back and check it out. I've only heard good things. And yeah, I'm kicking my own ass for not having checked it out. So I'm gonna have to change that.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so freaking good having you on the show, man.
Man, I had a great time. You got an awesome
Thank
audience. You. Good show. It's fun. I love your energy.
Thank you, man.
I'll come back anytime you want me. And please, guys, go back that Kickstarter. Yeah. Reign of Dracula from Thorny Comics on Kickstarter right now. Free shipping if you back it and refer a friend. If you're a retailer, you're going to make money off this. 65% discount plus free shipping. So, yeah, there we go. Reign of Dracula. Please go back it. We are so close to our goal. And I want to get that goal because I want to introduce some stretch goals at the last minute. So, yeah, go check that out.
So, awesome. Guys, you know how we do it. He's been nice enough to be here and give us his time. And all we ever ask in return is, please share that Kickstarter out at the very least. Throw it up on your socials. Let everybody see it. And then, yeah, man. But if you can, you're excited by it, dude, come check it out. He would love to get you guys a copy.
I absolutely would.
Dude, thank you so much. We will definitely have you on another show where we're able to get you to, we're able to get you in. We'll do the trivia. We'll do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That sounds fun, dude.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. We'll definitely have that out. So thank you so much, man. Everybody have an absolutely awesome Thanksgiving. And you know what? Because we didn't swear at all, I'm going to end it the way I love to end it. Everybody, great show. Have a great holiday. My name is Chuck. I give a fuck. Take care. Have a good one.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.